Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on our show today. I'm Armando F. Sanchez, CEO, Armando F. Sanchez Production International. I have the honor of having two wonderful, outstanding poets who put together an anthology, Old Age and Young Hearts. That's a very touching title, I gotta admit. And it was written by Judy Ray and Ellen Reynard. They're the editors. It's their wonderful book. Thank you very much for allowing me to have it and read it and enjoy and laugh and cry with your stories in here and your poets. I understand that this was really a very complicated work in terms of putting together a lot of different poetry and then trying to shift through it and trying to get it down to the print side of it. So, it's a challenge to do it. But thank you for your words, your inspiration, and touching our souls. So with that, let's begin to meet the poets who wrote the book, and then we'll go on. And again, the name of the book, Old Age and Young Hearts, and the picture behind me on the screen is part of the front cover of the wonderful book. Thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you, Armando.
Thank you. I'm also very happy to be on the show.
Now, there are two editors for this wonderful book, Judy Ray and Ellen Reynard, on Old Age and Young Hearts. So, Judy, please give us the background on your co-editor and, I understand, your friend, Ellen Reynard.
I'm pleased to introduce Ellen. I met Ellen years ago when she joined a memoir class I was teaching and quickly realized what a proficient writer she was. We became friends. I also learned at that time that she had been an editor for Parabola magazine at one time, and we just clicked. And I recognized her talents and her sweet sense of humor, and we became friends. She's the author of several poetry books, No Batteries Required and Double Stream. And our relationship has just grown over the years. Ellen and I talked about the fact that we were both writing poems about aging and thought that if we are, there must be other people doing the same. And that was really the genesis of Old Age and Young Hearts. And we talked about, let's see if we can get other poets interested in sharing their poems, their views. And that's how Old Age and Young Hearts started.
Well, thank you, Judy. That was a wonderful presentation of giving us of her background. And now it's Ellen Reynard's turn to give us the background on Judy Ray.
Well, I met Judy when I took her memoir class, and then following that, she started teaching a poetry class, and so I joined that, and it's what started me writing poetry. And all along, I found her to be very affirming of her students and of our work. And then the day came that we became very good friends, and we would exchange our poems. And then came the day when we decided to do this anthology together. We both participated in a poetry group here in Grass Valley, and we asked some of the members of this poetry group. And then Judy's particular talent, of course, was that she knew some poets of great talent and much publication, and she was able to bring in a very experienced series of voices for this subject. She has written 3 chapbooks. Her most recent one is Family Matters, about being a grandmother and being a granddaughter. So from the moment we first had the idea until we came to actually the publication was kind of like a pregnancy. It took 9 months.
Well, again, we're very happy to have two distinguished poets. So let's have some readings of these stories that they wrote. Ellen Reynard, I understand that you're going to read 3 of them. Please, we look forward to hearing them right now.
Yes, I'm going to read 3 poems that 2 of them bring out the beauty of growing older, and one of them brings out the humor of some of the things that happen to us. The first one is called I Wonder. My brain is an old house of too many rooms, each one more cluttered than the next with everything I have ever forgotten, misplaced, or lost. I look in the corner room for my glasses, but only find the address book I searched for yesterday in the blue room. Next, I try the room behind the kitchen. No glasses there either. So I peer into the library, the pantry, my office, and only when I give up do I discover my glasses in my pocket. I wonder if each forgotten name, every misplaced key, and the mates of all the odd socks that lie useless in my bureau drawer wait for me to fall asleep every night, then rush gleefully up and down the stairs and along the hallways, dash in and out of all the rooms, then hide exactly where I last looked for them. My second poem is inspired by the Navajo night chant, which speaks of walking in beauty, beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty all around me. And it's called She is Finished in Beauty. Begun from the fusion of two cells in a watery world, swimming and growing into a living being, she is born in beauty, perfect in every detail. From the tiny ovals of her fingernails to eyelashes curved on rounded cheeks and hands flung upward in surrender to sleep. Happy in her sheltered world, she sings, laughs, and sometimes cries, but only until a giggle erupts and chases away tears. A work in progress, she outgrows childhood to struggle through adolescent pimples and angst, to emerge at last as an adult. She gazes at her newborn son and marvels at the perfection of his tiny fingernails. As he grows, she continues in beauty. Middle age dulls some of the glow until a new sort of loveliness emerges in her final years. Silver hair, glistening eyes. The day she leaves, the past falls away when her eyes close with lashes curved on her cheeks, and she surrenders to death's long sleep. She is finished in beauty. And my third poem is entitled The Swan, and it's inspired by a video of an old woman with Alzheimer's who remembers dancing Odette in Swan Lake. Swan. The opening chord of Swan Lake resonates through the room while an old woman slouches in her wheelchair, empty-eyed. Her hands, long tapered fingers, hang limp and forlorn from her wrists. An oboe sings the opening melody's lyric call. The woman's right hand opens, palm up, then falls inert in her lap. Her head droops in dejection. As the full orchestra swells in crescendo, the woman looks up and lifts her arms, fluid grace, sweeping gestures. Hands flutter like feathers in the wind. Head turned in regard and regal profile, eyes alight, as both arms rise above her head. Her wings catch the wind current. The swan is in flight.
Thank you, Ellen Reynard, for reading those three poems that are in your book, Old Age and Young Hearts. Okay, next we have Judy Ray. Judy Ray will also read three of her poems that are in the book as well. So let's pass it on to her.
Thank you, Armando. This first poem deals with a subject I think common to so many as we age. It's titled, It Begins with a P. You know you're old when the word you are seeking eludes you, though you can recall with crystalline awareness the first letter. For hours you contemplate the matter, watch as the robin picks berries off the plant outside your window. Poinsettia? No, that's not it. It's also not primrose or petunia. At 3 a.m., the answer comes. Pyracantha, of course. You know you're old when the new doctor you see looks to be about 12, with tattoos revealed beneath his lab coat and thin shirt. His hair, dark and unruly, makes you want to smooth it down, give him a pat, and send him out the door the way you fussed with your son before school. You know you're old, drawing closer to your warranty expiration date, and are not fooled even though the physician declares you good as new. What he doesn't say is good as new for your aging self, with bones that break beneath the weight of false expectations. With a brain like a sieve, you move from actor to audience, forgetting your lines, even the simple ones, the name of the movie, the book you just read. Still, there are worse things, and you can yet honor the sacred, the bird, the butterfly. You can still bend, though not as easily, to catch the fleeting aroma of the blossom whose name you've misplaced, acknowledging, regardless, it remains as sweet. Time traveler. At 10, I am a yellow afternoon, a day of blackberry delights and hopscotch games. All summer, I awake to possibility. I am old now, a shadow of my younger self, dodging grief. My heart says, bliss, stay here, shrink sadness, hide it in my pocket, make an altar of scars. And for my final poem, I'm going to read Mid-July, which deals with our connection with nature. Mid-July in Northern California, and mature madrone leaves turn yellow and quit the trees. Some green remains, healthy still, while the old foliage drops silently, floating to earth to create a cushion on the forest floor. If only we could age as trees do, uncomplaining, releasing our anchors to the skies. When letting go our hold of earth's abundance, can we be as graceful, as silent as leaves?
Well, thank you for reading the 6 poems. Made me laugh, made me think, made me reflect, and try to remember I'm also over 60. So I saw a lot of that in the stories themselves. Well, let's go over a few moments and give time for reflection over what you wrote and storyline behind this wonderful book, Old Age and Young Hearts. So first, we'll ask Ellen Reynard for her reaction.
So when all is said and done, I think the aspect of growing older that attracts me the most is the humor of the kind of situations we find ourselves in. We've all had the experience of going into a room or someplace and not knowing why we went there, or standing in front of the refrigerator, gazing into its interior and looking for answers.
I have to agree with Ellen that it is humor that sustains us during times of trouble and confusion, which we experience more these days. For me, I think the subject of aging, while we understand it intellectually, integrating it emotionally is something else again, and it is a process. And I think poetry helps with that. I'd like to thank Ellen for being so much a part of my life and a part of writing this book. And of course, dear Armando, thank you as well. The book is available through Kelsey Books. It's also available on Amazon.com. Armando, thank you so much. Look forward to participating with you again. Yeah, you are a treasure, and those of us who know you have come to so appreciate your work.
Well, thank you very, very much. I want to thank again Judy Ray and Ellen Reynard for the beautiful book. which you have here, a collection of poems from different writers. Some we know, some are brand new, so that's wonderful. And I love the combination. It is a delight to pick it up and read it. With that, I want to say thank you to both of you. Continue writing. I hope you write another anthology. I look forward to seeing it as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on our program. Goodbye.